How did you think Kiss the Ground like impacted you and the people that you knew and like were around you?
So again, that was a really big moment. That film took us 7 years to make. Can you believe that? 7 years it took to make that film.
Yeah.
And I actually shot the first footage of that film in Zimbabwe and Botswana 9 years ago. Yeah, so 9 years ago, I shot that footage, almost 10 years ago. And that's what we ended up using in the film. And Josh and Rebecca Tickell, the filmmakers, writers, directors, are just absolutely incredible. But that, for me, the galvanizing moment was recognizing, because I grew up very poor in the deep South, right? But my family were farmers. My grandparents were farmers, my aunts, uncles, they were all farmers. And even on my dad's side, the French side, my mom's side was Irish and Choctaw Native American, and they were all farmers. My dad's side were mostly farmers. So recognizing that, I always knew I wanted children, but now I have a munchkin, I have a child, like your mama. And we realized, I realized that, and you hear this when you watch the film, that we have conservatively about 60 harvests left, right? Meaning we have enough healthy soil for 60 harvests. Now think about this. In 60 years, you're only going to be 71.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a long life ahead of you. So basically, the world that we've created for you is telling you, hey, by the way, when you're in your 70s and you should be in your golden years and hanging out and sitting on the beach with your own family, there's actually going to be a global food shortage because there's going to be no soil left. That, for me, is unacceptable. And so we decided to do something about it. For me, it's not an option to say to your generation or to my daughter's generation, hey, we're sorry what we did. No. I don't want to be saying we're sorry. We're going to be saying we fixed it. We inherited this from our parents and grandparents, not grandparents, but we inherited this from our parents and their generation. And we're not going to pass this down to you. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, we built out this film over the course of 7 years. And, not to sound like a butthurt producer, but pardon my French, but, we were blown away that we didn't have an Oscar nomination, much less win an Oscar. I mean, this is like a paint by numbers way of stopping and reversing the single greatest existential threat to humankind, which is climate disruption, right?
Right.
We know that scientifically. And so it's a very powerful time. This film came at the right time. And, we've won, not that awards matter, but they do to get it in front of people. We won, I think, 47 awards globally. We missed the Oscars, but hey, that's fine. But it's a really powerful moment. And, there are 250,000 teachers that are using this in schools and classrooms right now, which is just incredible, right? And so just in North America, and we just released the 45-minute educational version for free. We just released it on January 21st. We released it to 30 million students globally.
That's an insane number, and that's amazing. Well,
it's a big number
on your 47 Oscars. Or sorry, you're
47 awards.
Oscars. Getting mixed up.
Thank you.
But congratulations anyway.
What's the next question?
Okay, so when you first set out for environmental change, what was your initial goal?
That's a really solid question. That's one of the reasons. So that's why I asked you, I said, what was that catalyst, that one thing that made you realize you wanted to do this? And you just explained it was seeing what was in front of you. And by virtue of the fact that the adults in the room didn't want to do something about it, you said, I'm going to take matters in my own hands and I'm going to do it. I'd always worked with an amazing organization called Conservation International. And my goal was even to make young people like you know what CI meant, Conservation International. It's the single largest international conservation organization in the world, basically, and they're really incredible. And I'd been working with them for years, and then what happened was at the very end of the last few days of shooting season 1 of the Vampire Diaries, the Gulf oil spill happened, and that Deepwater Horizon oil rig blew. And that's my backyard, right? I grew up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, or the Louisiana Gulf Coast is my like home. And it was my backyard, and it was being destroyed. And I just noticed, I realized, because I was hearing from fishermen and people that I, like we have people, that's our home, so we know a lot of people, and they're saying, I'm seeing in the media that these oil slicks are 14 miles offshore, or 34 miles offshore, and they're only 500 feet wide, but they're not, they're 20 miles offshore, and they're 2,000 feet wide. So I decided, I got on a plane. No, I drove. I grabbed my cats and my luggage. We just wrapped Vampire Diaries the day before, and called my dad. I said, I need you to pick up this camera equipment for me, please, at this place in New Orleans. He went and got it. And I just said, I'm going to document all this. And what I saw was true. I was right, which is, and no offense to the media. I love the media. They've made, I have an incredible relationship with the media. That's how I work. I work in media. But I realized that there was these massive oil slicks, and they were very close to shore. And there was a lot more devastation that was being reported. And I realized in that moment that I wanted to be an amplifier for those who couldn't speak, or those whose voice might be smaller than mine. And I don't personally have a college degree. I didn't have a profession in the scientific field, but I knew that as an actor, that I could leverage entertainment value to create and promote quantifiable global change in a positive way. And so that was that sort of galvanizing aha moment. It was quite an incendiary moment, right? Because it was a really stressful time in our country. And that's how I founded the Ian Somerhalder Foundation and started into this really big world of nonprofit, those initiatives. And now I recognize that the real work that's going to be done with nonprofit initiatives is actually going to come from business. And that's why I'm excited to be in business with Paul. And so, because that big change is going to come from businesses doubling down and putting their money where their mouths are. And that's what's really special and important.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes perfect sense.